Hi, my name is Dr. Catherine Hughes from Crime Psych. I'm a criminal psychologist, and as you might know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I run a business that enables me to bring knowledge and learning to everyone, not just those who are at colleges and university. And I do that by producing a range of blogs and vlogs and free online courses. And I do also run slightly more in-depth courses, both online and face-to-face. You don't need any previous qualifications to learn with me, and I do have several different subjects available. Once you've finished watching this video, head on over to my website and have a look what's available on there. This particular video is looking at offender rehabilitation programs. First of all, we will take a look at what rehabilitation programs consist of and then look at how well they perform. For any programme to be used within the Correction Service in the UK, it must be first approved and accredited by the Correctional Services Accreditation and Advice Panel. This is a panel of independent international experts, and they assess the programmes against the principles of effective interventions. Any programmes that are approved for use within the judicial system must prove that the techniques used within them will help offenders to change. Of course, they must also target the right people to take part in these programmes. And these can vary from being digital programmes which are undertaken within the community. Others can be delivered face-to-face, and this can be either in the community or undertook in prisons. It would be far too lengthy a video to cover each and every single programme which is available. So I'll just give you a few examples of what those programmes are and what they cover. The Become a New Me programme is designed for high or very high risk adult men who have disabilities, learning disabilities or learning challenges and have been convicted of a sexual offence. It supports the development of skills to strengthen pro-social identity and plan for an offence-free life. There are also other programmes designed for those with substance misuse issues. The Breaking Free Health and Justice package has two components. Firstly, there's the Breaking Free online programme, and this is an 8-session digital behaviour change programme which addresses the underlying psychological and lifestyle difficulties behind alcohol or drug use and offending behaviour. The programme targets 70 problem substances, which include a range of substances such as new psychoactive substances and prescribed medications. And there is also the Pillars of Recovery programme. And this is a 12-session behaviour change programme that also targets the underlying psychological and lifestyle difficulties behind alcohol and drug use and offending behaviour, but it's delivered face-to-face. I suspect that this would be very similar to the 12-step programme, which is widely used in the community for addicts. Other programmes address a variety of offenders, such as the Choices, Actions, Relationships, Emotions programme. This is for women who have a medium and above risk and who have a history of violence and complex needs. This programme aims to assist women to help them to understand and therefore learn how to manage the risk that they pose to themselves and to others, and to live a more satisfying and pro-social life. Many of these behaviour change programmes are based on cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT. CBT focuses on challenging and changing unhelpful cognitive distortions and behaviours and improving emotional regulation and the development of personal coping strategies that target solving whatever the current problems might be in a person's life. There are a wealth of evidence of studies to suggest that CBT does work well in general. However, most of these studies are so-called long-term follow-up studies, and they only follow patients for 12 months. When we consider how effective these programmes are on reducing reoffending, we see that there are still some fairly high figures of reoffending rates. The UK spends a vast amount of money each year in an attempt to rehabilitate prisoners through these various programmes. However, the general public's perception of the prison service is that it should be punishing the offenders for their crimes and to protect the public. Therefore, when there is money spent on improving facilities and amenities, there can sometimes be a public outcry that prisoners are better treated than some holiday camps. I can somewhat empathise with this view. I've been at the receiving end of several different crimes. I've been sexually assaulted in a town centre. I've had motorbikes stolen. I've been burgled, amongst many other different types of offences, and therefore, if I thought that these offenders were taken into a nice comfortable room, given a TV, a gaming station, had their dinners, food cooked for them, their washing done, I'd feel as though justice wasn't being done. Similarly, how can you tell a mother who's had her child raped or murdered that this offender just needs help and assistance and rehabilitation? You can't. There needs to be a fine line between punishment and rehabilitation. However, if we don't try to rehabilitate these offenders, they will always return to the community and commit crime after crime again and again. I did have a look at the government statistics for reoffending rates in preparation for writing this video, and this got very complicated to navigate and to get a clear picture of the reoffending rates, especially when you want to compare yearly figures. The most recent figures that I found suggested that 28.7% of male adults released from prison between January to March 2018 reoffended within 1 year. However, these figures aren't directly comparable with the report in October 17, as the reports were changed from yearly to quarterly reports. But despite this lack of clear comparable figures, it is generally known that around 30% of offenders will reoffend within 1 year of release. And this 30% average rises considerably the more prior offences a prisoner has. And this would suggest to me that the rehabilitation programmes are not as effective as what they could or should be. The former Director General of the Prison Service, Sir Martin Neri, has said that rehabilitation programmes in jail don't work. He highlights that short programmes administered within a prison setting can't undo a lifetime of damage. He suggests that the best that a prison can offer inmates is to be treated with dignity and respect. He said, and I quote, "Decent prisons in which prisoners are respected seem to provide a foundation for prisoner self-growth. Indecent, unsafe prisons allow no such growth and further damage to those who survive there." Furthermore, he added, "Stop fretting about rehabilitation programmes. Politely discourage those who urge you to believe that they have a 6-week to 6-month programme or course which can undo a lifetime of damage." He says that the next time somebody tells you that they have a quick fix scheme that can transform the lives of people is one which you should be particularly suspicious. Politely explain to them that life isn't that simple, and it isn't. This is one of the most sensible things I have ever heard for an official in the criminal justice system. How can we expect to change and heal a lifetime of issues with a 6-week course? These courses are based on cognitive behavioural programmes which do have a proven record for working. However, there is a severe lack of long-term effectiveness beyond these 12-month follow-ups. In conclusion, I do believe that there needs to be a very long-term or maybe even lifetime support for offenders. To give you a similarity that you can put into context, have a think back to something that you used to be very good in when you were at school. That might be maths, gymnastics, playing the recorder, whatever it was. If you haven't practiced that, you're not going to be very good at it as an adult, are you? Think of the same way. Think of rehabilitation programs in the same way. If you're not continuously thinking about it or consistently working on your thoughts and your behavior, you are eventually going to slip back into the patterns that you formed over many, many years sooner or later. And I've spoken with many offenders who all agree that once you're released from prison, you are kind of left to your own devices. One man who I interviewed in prison begged me not to send him back to the same neighbourhood to live, as he was sure he was going to reoffend. There needs to be long-term support put into place if we want any hope of reducing reoffending rates any further than what we already have. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I do hope that you've enjoyed it, and I do hope that you've learned something from it. Leave me your thoughts or questions in the comments below, and I will aim to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.